Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon. So I think that with all the action going on around the East, I think it is highly important that I start uncovering prophecies again, at least so that the people on the ground, those that are really chosen, not frozen, can be informed. Now, there's a lot of people impersonating the chosen, and we already know who they are. We know that the Edomite clans that were once forcibly converted in Israel centuries ago, we know that they are the people who have been spoken about in the book of Genesis. And I need not remind you, but if you have the Hidden Truths of Hebraic Scrolls, at least the 7th edition, you should be in no way uninformed what is going on, which I describe in the book of Genesis. When I translate it, I give it to you in black and white without hiding or holding back information or putting a gate around it. So in the book of Bereshit, Genesis, I'm going to go straight into it. I'm not going to say anything else because not to waste any time, and I will brief you as we go along. In the book of Genesis, chapter 9, we are told that Elohim, God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth." We know that Noah was instructed to build the ark, which took many years. He had his 3 sons, their wives, and of course Noah's wife in the ark. And so when these waters came, the rains came, which they had never seen, and water came from the ground and water came from the top, then what we found was that the ark started to float, and the people that were in the ark survived, and majority of the then known world that was around the ark sunk. And of course, there were fishes in the sea that were alive, and there was probably dinosaurs that survived. And of course, there were probably a few individuals, according to our ancient books, few individuals did survive. Now, I'm not focusing on that part at this point. What I'm focusing on is verse 27 of Genesis 9, which you'll find in most Bibles out there today. Not just most, every Bible out there today is mistranslated, especially including the King James Version. And every other Bible that I have ever read, this verse is mistranslated. Let me tell you what the verse says. It says, Elohim is a word, Hebrew word for God. God will allow Japheth to be deceived, and he will dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan will become his servant. So, who is this Japheth? Japheth are the people from whom today we see the pale skin race, which most people call white. This says they will be deceived. Now, the Caucasian Europeans, they are the sons of Japheth. Okay, Turkic people could also be qualified as sons of Japheth because they are from Japheth. So, how do we know that they are deceived? Because these people, they will come into the land, they will claim to be the chosen, and they will overtake the real chosen people's homes and claim to be the people who live there. Let's come back to present-day Israel. Present-day Israel, every leader of Israel in the past, including the previous prime ministers and the other ministers, they all had different names. I'm not going to go through the list of names because it is very long, and this is not the purpose of this particular topic of Torah. What the purpose of this topic is just to highlight some important issues. For example, Benjamin Netanyahu, he is the prime minister of Israel today. His real name is not Benjamin Netanyahu. His name, he's got a Lithuanian or he's got an East European name. I believe something Kokoski or something is his real name, and he changed it. He's not the only one who changed it. Every other person in Israel who claims to be a chosen person changed their names as well. Again, if you search through Google, you'll find all these people's real names. And my purpose of this particular talk is not to bring out the real name of Benjamin Netanyahu or these other people, because they all have fake names. Yeah, they all have fake names today. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu, as I gave you one example, his name was Milikowski. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, Milikowski, East name, okay? And he's not the only one. He's not the only one. Almost all of Israel's ministers had similar, European-sounding names, and they all changed them. There's a whole, host of people that are different, like Israel Katz is his real name. Ben Gvir is not his real name. And so, all of these people, they had different names, and they changed it from their original last name to the name that they gave them. Like Milikowski became Netanyahu, so that in order to make it sounding like he's a Sephardic Jew. He's not a Sephardic Jew, by the way. He's East European, and these people, as I have demonstrated before to you with evidence, that majority of these European Ashkenazim, people who identify themselves today as Ashkenazim Jews, they are all originated from Ukraine, which was once called the Khazar Empire. Now, again, I don't really want to go into that because is this, the list will get very long, and there are books written by Israeli people, by so-called Jewish people who knows all this and specify the history of Israel. Now, Golda Meir, by the way, Golda Meir is not the real name of Golda Meir. Golda Meir's real name was Golda Mabovich. Okay, Shimon Peres, who was one time the president of Israel, he was born Shimon Persky. Yitzhak Shamir was born Ichak Jezeniki. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, it's so hard to pronounce. Moshe Dayan was born Moshe Kategorodski or something. Kategorodski. Ariel Sharon, one of the generals in Israel, was born Ariel Shalomon. Yud Barak, again one of the military leaders of Israel, was born Yud Brog. Moshe Sharet was born Moshe Shertok. So the list goes on and on and on. Again, like I said, these names are all available. Google them and you'll find them all. My point is simply highlighting that the people who today call themselves Jews, they are not original stock of Jews of Israel, and they are converts, and maybe their forefathers in Ukraine, when Ukraine was part of Khazar Empire, at that point the whole country converted. Okay, this is why you find today Israel is trying to help Ukraine with weapons and other things going on with this other clown that's in Ukraine, so-called Zelensky. He's another clown in Ukraine. So, and then you got a clown called Milikowski, aka Netanyahu. He's another clown who started this war. And I remember, and I think some of you who were with me will remember that back in 2014 era, there was a black guy in America. He actually, it wasn't a bad man. He's an Israelite, and he knows it. And he was in Israel, and I happened to bump into him when I went to Israel. If you remember, there was 7-8 of us. We went to Israel, and we met these people in Israel. These were people who were from black stock, and they identified themselves as Jews, and they identified themselves as from the tribe. I mean, some of them said they were Benjamin, some of them said they were Yehuda, Judah, and other different tribes. Majority Judah and Benjamin. And so this man, at the time, I don't want to put his name out because I don't want to make him sound bad, but this man put out at the time that there is safety in Zion or Zion, the place where they lived. They call this part Zion, and he was encouraging everybody in America, the black families, to migrate and drop their U.S. passports and migrate to Israel because there's safety there. Well, I'd like to tell you today, how many years? 2014, 11 years after the event, I have been once again proven right. The man was wrong. I did tell him at the time, I said, listen, by his name, politely of course, not in arrogant way. I said, listen, I know what you believe. Some of the things I agree with you regarding the location of the temple, that it was in the south, not in the middle of Israel. But I do not agree with the perspective of people moving to Israel and giving up their passports. That is a willful violation of Torah, and because God has not ordained us to come to Israel right now. He argued that there was safety in Zion, and sure, I said, that's your opinion. That's not the opinion of the Torah. That's not the opinion of the prophets in the Torah. I disagree with you. Actually, Israel is the worst place to live, because wars are going to come in Israel's way. Israel is going to be, a dot in the middle that all these Arab nations from around that it's going to fight with, they're going to come and start striking it. And you know what? Anyway, what happened? There was people who were on their side. They wanted to take his side. There were some people who were with me. We basically carried on, and we did our visit. We paid homage to the old location of the temple place, and we came back home. And 11 years later, look what happened. Look how I saved a lot of people at that time. And I told them not to go there, and some people stopped from going there. Their lives today are saved. Why? Because today Israel, if you go look at Tel Aviv, you go look at Beersheba, it's my goodness, it's a wasteland. Iranian missiles are raining down on those areas, and none of Israel's defenses, not THAAD missile defense from the US, not other defense systems from the US, not Israel's own David Sling and the other defense systems they have, the Iron Dome, they're all wasted. They actually run out of missiles as well, and the US that supplies them said that we're also running out of missiles to supply you. So Iranian missiles are raining down on Israel and hammering Israel. Israel did this to Gaza. Israel buried babies in Gaza, killed babies, killed pregnant women, shot them in the stomach. Yeah, they shot women. IDF shot women. The so-called great IDF. No, it's not so great. The cowards. I told you in one of my previous broadcasts that IDF is no match for the world armies. I do not rate them. Remember, you go back to one of my talks and I said, I do not rate the IDF army. They have no real battle experience. They're only fighting with Palestinians who were, not even properly armed. Even the Palestinians who were not properly armed, even they gave IDF a taste of battle. They killed a lot of IDF soldiers. And all these histories about Israel, 1973, Yom Kippur War, and 1960, 67, BS. It's a total hogwash. I do not believe in any of those conjured up histories. I do not believe it. Because they just conjured up histories to prop up these fake people that you want to worship. They are not the people to worship. You want to worship, you worship God. God is the only one who deserves the worship, not fake chosen people. So, look at what happened. They're now trying to drag America into war. And you know what's going to happen? Well, Trump is another clown if Trump enters into this war. Because Trump is being forced to enter into a war that has nothing to do with the US. Making up a fake, making up a fake story that Iran has nuclear weapons and blah, blah, blah. And if you go back in history, and there are there are many shows going on from America, different people doing it. There's Colonel McGregor is appearing in different shows. There is another colonel who's appearing in shows. They will tell you that these claims that Iran is very close to a nuclear weapon was made in 2012, then in 2016 by Benjamin Netanyahu, then in 2018, then in 20, then in 25, and it's the same story. The same BS, the same lies, the same story. You know what? So, if you want to trust this man, may God help you if you want to trust this man called Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, this Benjamin Netanyahu has put all his people in Israel in real danger, because now they're trying to get out of Israel. Listen, Israel's going to get depopulated very, very fast. There are already people who are trying to leave and can't leave. Some people already left. Other people will just get out of shuttles and leave. Their houses are rubble. Their cars are just clunk of, metal. Just metal. Cars have been destroyed. Houses have been destroyed by this barrage of missiles that none of Israel's defenses can stop. Israel, the mythological people who claim to be chosen, have been, struck down so hard by Iran, the Persian Empire, that they got a good hiding. I just called them, that was a Zionist project that was funded and paid for by rich Zionist Jews in Europe. And listen to this. Back in 1917, when the Balfour Declaration happened by Ian Balfour, they claimed that God gave them the land, but guess what? None of these Zionists believed in God. They were atheists. Did you even know that they were atheists? And they said God gave us this land. How can you believe in God when you're all atheists? You call yourself chosen? Stop making a joke of yourself. So this is the problem. The problem is that the media has been controlled by these people. Everything else has been controlled. They are not letting any news out of Israel or what the kind of extent of damage and other things going on. So I can tell you that these people, be very, very wary of what they say. So I would be wary of believing anything they say. Now, before I get into Bible prophecy, before I get to prophecy of what's going on, there were a couple of things I wanted to say. Oh yeah, a couple of things. How the Western world has made maps, let's call it fake maps. Did you know that Africa's size on the map is not what true Africa's size is? Africa is a much, much, much bigger continent. Much bigger continent. Bigger than India. Bigger than Greenland. But Africa is made to look smaller. Why? Because the Western world wanted to dominate these people, and they want to show Africa as a smaller continent. No, Africa is much bigger. And there are some other countries that are so bigger on the map. This map is also fake, because the original maps, they were moved because they had the original sizes of the nations, estimated size, of course, at that time, back in the 18th century, and then they were remodeled with smaller areas. Why? Because the Western world wanted to show that they were more dominant, they had bigger cities or bigger countries, but that is not the case. Okay, that's not the case. Now, a lot of things are happening with the war right now. I really don't want to get into the nitty-gritty, because some of the information is vital to certain countries' national interests. So I don't really want to delve into that and make it public, because I don't think it is public, that information, and I don't want to make it public either. Because, for the integrity of the nations, I think it's best that that information remains underground for now. Maybe someday, when I'm with people who are wanting to know this information, maybe then I can bring this information out at that point to my own people, the real Jews, not the fake ones. So therefore, I'm sorry, I won't be able to give you that information, because it is, like I said, is in the interest of certain national or nations that it kept down. Now, coming back to the prophecy. Actually, let me give you, I'll give you the cure afterwards. Let me give you the prophecy. What I would like to do is, I would like to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49. A lot of these so-called teachers out there, they are picking on prophecies and willy-nilly, and just making up stories from Daniel chapter 11 and Daniel chapter 9. Listen, forget about all of that. They are clueless. These so-called prophecy teachers today are clueless. They don't even know what they're talking about. They don't even have the history right. And let me tell you what real prophecy is going on. Let me take you to Jeremiah 49 is key passage. Judgment of Edom. Let me read that to you again. Thus says Yudhe of hosts of Savaot, is wisdom no more in Teman, has counsel perished from the prudent. What is Taman? Taman is the part of Arabia, northern side of Arabia, all the way up, connecting to Israel. Has counsel perished from the prudent? Has their wisdom vanished? Flee, turn back, dwell in the depths of inhabitants of Dedan. Who are Dedan? Dedan are the sons. These are the people that you might call the nomads in the past. Today they might be identified as different Arab people. For I will bring the calamity of Esau. Who is Esau? You know who Esau is? You all know who Esau is. Esau is the son of Isaac. The twin. Remember the twin sons, Jacob and Esau? Well, what does the Bible say? For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will punish him. Well, who are the Edomites? They are the sons and daughters of Esau. And these Edomites are the ones that are controlling Israel today. Okay? Let's be black and white with that. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, this time that I will punish him. If grape gatherers came to you, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, would they not destroy until they have enough? Listen, I heard an idea of soldier. I don't know if the clip was fake. I don't know if the clip was real. This one man was interviewing an idea of soldier about Gaza, and he's asking him, he says, do you want to kill the children in Gaza? He says, yeah. And he says, do you want to kill 1 million children in Gaza? And the idea of soldier, young man, he goes, yeah. He goes, why do you want to, are you insane? Are you mad? You want to kill 1 million children in Gaza? The man goes, yeah. We want to flatten Gaza. We want to build malls over there. Yeah, malls, plazas and whatnot. And the guy said to him, this reporter guy said to him, you're crazy, you need to go get help. You're psychologically crazy because you've been brainwashed. You've been brainwashed all this time with the wrong information. Listen, these Edomites, I won't even call them chosen ever again. These Edomite people, they were brainwashing the West and saying, oh, Palestinians, they brainwash their children. They make them suicide bombers and they teach them to kill us. But really what it turned out, it was the other way around. The Edomites were brainwashing their children, and now look what they are doing in Gaza, other places. And look what does God say about them. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him. What's the calamity? Esau did so much evil over there. Look at what he did in Gaza. Look at what Esau did in other places. And what is God doing now? Bringing the calamity of Esau on his own head. If grape gatherers came to you, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, would they not destroy until they have enough? But I have made Esau bare. God certainly made Esau bare. My goodness, Baruch Hashem, Lord. Lord God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Thank you. Thank you for showing us the real colors of these people. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His descendants are plundered. Listen, go look at Israel. Is this prophet true? Are the descendants plundered or not? Go look for yourself. Look on these news channels that are not allowed to broadcast. Look at the channels that are allowed to broadcast certain pictures. There is an Indian journalist. Okay? I think he's called Janta Ka Reporter. And I think that you can search for him on YouTube. He will show you pictures, inside pictures of what's happening in Israel that is picking up from wherever. He's a journalist. And he is putting them out in his Telegram channel. And if you type in YouTube, Janta Ka Reporter, you will get his videos. And listen to him. He speaks in English. Good man. Great man. He speaks the truth. And it says that I have made him bare. Leave your fatherless children. I will preserve them alive and let your widows trust in me. For thus says Yudhevahi, behold, those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunk. And are you the one who will altogether go unpunished? Because you are the one who decide Iran's fate. And you decide the fate of the Palestinians. And you decide the fate of the rest of the world. What do you think will happen to you, Esau? God will punish you. You will not go unpunished. And Iran is the punishing hand. That is the hand of the Lord. If you want to know where the hand of the Lord is, it's Iran. It's the Persian Empire. The empire strikes back. You shall not go unpunished, but you shall surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, says Yod He Wah He, that Bozrah shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste and a curse, and all his cities shall be perpetual waste. I have heard a message from Yod He Wah He, an ambassador has been sent to the nations, gather, come against her, and rise up to battle. I tell you, my goodness, what can I say? This is so powerful. And this information is so powerful, but I really don't want to give you all of it right now. All I want to tell you is the situation is very tense. More information to come. I'm not going to continue the broadcast for too long. I will come back with more information. But right now, I think that we are at a juncture where, like I said to you last time, pray for your people. Pray for the real people. And pray for peace, that everything can be resolved. Right now, America is in the grips of the wrong people. The wrong leaders are letting America make choices which are not right for them. So really, even American leaders, they're all siding with these Zionist project people. The Zionist project, by the way, has failed. It's a failure, and it will not survive. So be careful that what you hear on the media, a lot of it is going to be propaganda. And the propaganda, don't buy it, don't listen to it. Be careful, because there's a lot of propaganda. Now, before I go, I want to help those people who are suffering from different illnesses. One of the things that I believe it was our minister, or in the person who is the health minister. He's a good guy in the U.S. I think it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Good man. He actually put out a little cure, and the pharmaceuticals make sure that after 60 seconds his video was taken down. He put out a cure. He said that people who suffer from diabetes, they just need to go to their kitchen and the cure is there. And the cure was that you have to take some salt, put it into cold water, drink it, and that'll regulate your blood. Okay, that's all you need. If you do that every day, maybe twice a day, start with once a day, then twice a day, you would not need to take any metformin, any diabetes pills. Probably the time will come when you start doing that, your blood sugar will be regulated, and you will not need any type of medication. That was a cure that he put out, by the way. So that is something out there. The other thing I like to tell you is on people who suffer with blood pressure, high blood pressure, all they need to do is get magnesium glycinate. Get magnesium glycinate, and you can get it in powder form or tablet form. You take 500 mg a day, or maybe twice a day. If you're a heavy sufferer, take 2 of those tablets a day. If you're a light sufferer, take 1 tablet a day. That will cure your blood pressure. So with that, again, like I said, that I've got a lot of things going on around me. I'm kind of almost around the war zone. I'm around the war zone. Can't say too much. I've got to go. Take care. Have a great Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom.